What's going on, everybody? On today's episode, we're going to be upgrading the OEM radiator on my 2005 Lexus GX470. And yes, as you've seen in the title, this is a Amazon / eBay / China aluminum radiator. I know what you're saying. What the hell are you doing? I live in Arizona and it gets well over 110 on average out here in the summertime. I have been running an aluminum radiator on my Mark III Supra. Granted, I don't drive this thing as much, but it has yet to give me any issues. And this was a eBay / Amazon aluminum radiator. Quick interruption, just in time for the summer. I want to show you guys a cool new design that we got live right now on lfatvshop.com. Just in time for the summer. If you guys are looking to ever support the channel in any type of way, please consider checking out the lfatvshop.com for merch like this and some cool hats on there that we got live right now. So any support is appreciated, guys, and I'm hoping that you guys like these designs just in time for the summer. Back to the show. So this is an option that is also shown, I think, on Rock Auto, if I'm not mistaken. But all the Amazon and eBay radiators, aluminum radiators for that matter, are this same exact one. All right. So I seen a couple drips coming of coolant coming from my OEM one. So I said, might as well go ahead and give this a try. I didn't see no videos of these cheap aluminum radiators online anywhere on YouTube, so I figured I'd go ahead and record this and give you guys my thoughts. So there are plenty of videos of how to change a radiator on a Lexus GX470 out there, so I'm not going to go on a step by step tutorial on this. I'm just gonna show you guys basically the before and after, show you guys the quality on some of these welds. Obviously we won't know till everything is on and performing on how well it's gonna work. Yep, so it comes with this cap as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and throw this bad boy on. All right, thanks for all the help, Buster. But yeah, as you guys can see here, definitely got some leaks, coolant leaks. So we took off the heavy ass RCI under plate because I have a whole full set under. But yeah, definitely leaks here. And I thought we should address this before the summer starts and we start doing some trails. All right. Yep. This bad boy was leaking pretty good. Good thing I caught it right now rather than later when it gets hotter here in Arizona. But yeah, as far as outlets go, we got on the right side basically fill, upper, inlet or outlet, lower. You got the trans inputs here, bottom one, upper one, lower rat hose, mounting points. As far as this one goes, everything is pretty much in the exact same spot, even the mounting points. So yeah, it's looking good so far. All right, so we got the shroud all cleaned up. There was a bunch of residue from the old coolant that kind of leaked everywhere. So gonna let this dry up and give it a little spit shine and throw it back in. All right, so right now that I have all this out, I'm gonna give all that a good cleaning. And I took the time to Shout out to Mr. Gallardo. Got all new belts. Well, basically new drive belt and new upper and lower hoses. So might as well change all this stuff out while we're in here. All right, so one thing I noticed, please make sure that these fittings right here are tightened down. As you guys can see here, this is how they come loose, okay? So please, whenever you guys put this in, make sure to double check all of these and make sure that they're all tight because they ship loose. All right, so just double check everything before you put it in. All right, so some of you guys might not like this, but basically the original mounting spots. All right, so normally what happens is basically you have this bushing here, and this one goes in the OEM one like this, and it needs to be that thick because it isolates this whole piece. So normally this one just comes with that. But basically what I'm doing is I'm removing this inner sleeve here. So I'm removing this. So this gets removed, and then I'm cutting basically this in half here, and then I'm placing this one in here like that, and then here's where I mount the bolt through. All right, so what that's gonna do is it allow me to mount this so much closer to the actual front engine bay, and allow this to be more secure and have zero play. All right, there you have it. Hard mounted. This is not going anywhere. And it's basically in the OEM spot because normally these bushings would be sitting basically right at that half point. So yeah, everything's hard mounted and we're good to go. All right, so unfortunately I did find some coolant residue around the intake manifold. That really sucks. So now with this being a 2-hour job, it now has become a 2-day job just because I'm probably gonna take my time and pace myself. Yeah, something I learned a while ago. If you record all your own work and you have proof, no receipts, no paper receipts needed. You have video receipts of all the work that you've done personally to your own vehicle. So having a YouTube channel and recording that stuff is a perk. All right, so I'm gonna get started on removing all this stuff. The radiator stuff is basically done. I'm done with that. Yeah. All right, guys, we got the intake manifold off. What you can see here is all that residue that's kind of built up, whatever it is, dirt and all that stuff all around. We got the vacuum here. We're gonna begin to clean a lot of this stuff off. Initially, I thought the leaks were coming from the rear crossover pipe, but in fact, they're coming from the front crossover pipe. Well, we got the bad culprits here. You guys could see one of these was pinched right here on this side, and this was leaking over here on this side. So we need 2 more gaskets. All right, we got some packages in the mail. We got a new rebuilt, I believe. I don't think it's brand new. Looks brand new. But Denzel starter. We got a new uni filter, UP107. This is the one that people put in the valve right here. And then on top of that, we got this new hose that is recommended to change when you do the starter, because you got to take that out right there, and that one's pretty much stiff as a you know what. And We got 4 new gaskets for where it was actually leaking, which is right here, and then we gotta still take off the back. But yeah, new parts. All right, guys. So you guys know that there's 2 valves back here. Basically, these 2 valves that have to come off. And for any of you guys that have ever done the rear crossover pipe, you guys know how extremely hard it is to get those 2 rear bolts off. Basically, that one, and that one. What I was using is I was using this 1/8 small socket, and I even cut my 8mm socket to try to make this basically more low profile to be able to fit between the firewall and the 2 valves. But the fronts I was able to get, but the rear ones, there's just so much little room. And I'm making this because hopefully I can save some people some time, some headache, some curse words, and yeah. So basically, having the right tool kind of will help a lot tremendously. This is a Power Torque GM6183. That's the part number actually, and it's a low profile open wrench. And basically you also want to get another little socket set, and this here is a 10mm. Now I put some tape on the end just to prevent it from coming out, because I did have it fall on me on the first bolt, and it took me forever to try to find it under the truck. But anyways, as you can see here, this is how thin the profile is, right? So if I put this socket in here, I want you guys to see how much thinner the profile is on this thing. And that room right there that you're saving on this will allow you to get behind there and actually remove those last bolts. As you guys can see, I was able to do. And it's gonna help me put them back too. So yeah, I'm gonna link the parts, the tools for these down below, the little socket set and the little open wrench. But yeah, guys, honestly, I struggled for 2 days trying to take those bolts off. I went search for these at O'Reilly's, and literally took me 5 minutes to get the ones in the back out. No biggie, other than losing the socket in the first time. So hopefully this will save people some time. And yeah, on to removing that. If any of you are ever doing this job, I had already put everything back together, and I had one vacuum line that was left, basically right here, this one. And I'm like, where the heck does it go? All right, everything was back, but I don't know if you guys can see, there's one little freaking nipple that's under the intake manifold. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, there it is. That one, I don't know if you guys can see it, right above the sensor plug. That freaking vacuum line goes right there. And since we have the under tray, the whole RCI skid plate off, we might as well do an oil change. So we got her on an incline. My driveway's slightly sloped. Got some brakes in the bottom. Make sure the front is elevated. We want all the air bubbles to come up to the front, and all the air bubbles that come out. So another thing to remember, once you have it on an incline, make sure you have your heater on, full blast. Make sure everything's warming up, so all the air kind of go through your core and everything. So right now she's really started guzzling because all the A lot of air bubbles started to come out, so kind of got a lot of this dirty, but we'll clean it up. We just want to make sure that there's no bubbles. She's looking good. And there you have it. We're back on the road. She good to go. Coolant is flushed and bled it correctly, and we're good to go, baby. For anybody watching this video in the future, present time as of this upload, message me, comment down below, ask me how the Amazon or eBay Radiator's doing. So far so good. Quality seemed pretty good, so we'll see how things go and how things work out. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. A lot of maintenance done. Time to, she's ready for the summertime and to be able to take her on some trails. So peace.